The very last solar eclipse in Libra arrives on Wednesday, October 2nd. It both completes the chapter started in July 2023 and introduces major spiritual and soulful new beginnings in love, beauty, and relationships. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. I really enjoy creating content for you guys, and I appreciate when you support me. So please leave me a like or a comment, subscribe, and press that notification bell. Watch another one of my videos, or say thank you by buying me a tea, a croissant, or coffee. Thank you for taking advantage of that. Before we dive in, if you're looking for personal guidance, you have questions, only a one-on-one consultation will answer. You want to understand your relationship compatibility, your year coming up, your natal chart, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. To get that one-on-one personal touch, on my website, you can find a variety of products I create. For example, my beautiful 2025 astrology planner. This captures all of the main transits of 2025, highlights the lunations, the eclipses, gives you plenty of spaces to journal, set your intentions. It even includes the best dates for love, lucky dates, challenging dates, lots of important information here. I started making these because I couldn't find a planner I liked for myself. So makes me happy, hopefully can make you happy. Additionally, on my website, you can find candles and oils I create. Since we are talking about the eclipse in Libra, I'd like to highlight my Venus in Libra 2 candle. It smells like honeysuckle jasmine. It captures Venus in the sign of rulership, and it was created in 2023. This is beautiful for anyone born with their natal Venus in Virgo, Scorpio, or Aries, the signs of fall and detriment. If you're born with Venus retrograde, if your natal Venus is in the 6th, 8th, or 12th houses, if it squares or opposes Saturn, Mars, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, can help ease your relationship tensions. If you're feeling any eclipse season, can lift up a lot of grimy things that we choose not to talk about, can bring eloquence to your speech, diplomacy to your relationships, and can even help you manifest the perfect relationship you seek. So highly, highly recommend. So let's talk about this eclipse. It's a big deal because we've been having eclipses in Libra since October last year. We had the first solar eclipse on October 14th, 2023. And then we had a lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th, 2024. So this is the third and final chapter in the Libra story, right? And ever since July 2023, South Node and North Node have been in Libra and Aries. And so collectively and personally, we've been going through a shift in our relationship dynamics, rethinking what is pleasure, rethinking what kind of relationships are appropriate for us, letting go of people-pleasing tendencies, letting go of a need to be liked by everyone, and focusing a lot more on what makes our soul happy. So definitely reflect back on how have your relationships changed starting in last October, what maybe closed and came to an end in March, and what are you starting out of all of those lessons, right? Like, because chances are in the last year you've learned a lot and your relationships have changed a lot, and so this eclipse offers you an opportunity for a brand new start, a fresh new beginning. So the eclipse occurs on Wednesday, October 2nd at 2:49 p.m. Eastern, or 2:46 p.m. Eastern. It's basically, the information is contradictory. Let me just double check it for you, because I think when I was looking it up, it was definitely, 2:46 p.m. 2:46 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, October 2nd. It is happening at 10 degrees 3 minutes Libra, so it is most important for you if you have planets between 7 and 13 degrees cardinal signs, which are Libra, Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn. You may notice that it comes at you with a stronger force and more power. This eclipse conjoins South Node, and this is what I've been talking about when I mentioned that we have been going through a lot of release and change in our relationships. South Node by nature is very spiritual. It's all about letting go of material, letting go of shallow, releasing, like I said, people-pleasing behaviors, rethinking what you find attractive, people you go for, and go for people that are more, once again, that fit your soul, that represent what you need versus what you want, what you like go for visually. It's like, you know, the South Node eclipse in Libra is asking you, what do you need in your life for better balance? What do you need for harmony in your relationships? And so sometimes it might also reflect talking about things that are not comfortable. What's happening with this eclipse specifically is that it conjoins Mercury. The eclipse is at 10 degrees Libra. Mercury is at 1132 degrees Libra. So there is a need for important and sort of pivotal conversations. And then it also squares Mars at 15 degrees Cancer. So it, on another level, represents some kind of friction, some kind of, maybe you've been dealing with something and not expressing frustration and dealing with some kind of like passive aggressive energy. And so this eclipse to me gives the microphone to those frustrations, and it's asking you to air them out, air your grievances, talk about things, and be reborn together, right? Like go through things in the relationship that actually end up bringing you closer. The ruler of the eclipse is Venus in Scorpio. She's in her detriment, but she's part of the grand water trine with Saturn and Mars, so she's supported. And the fact that she's in Scorpio to me also suggests, once again, the eclipse is in Libra, but Venus is in Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio wants raw intimacy. It wants vulnerability. It wants truth. It wants to know all the secrets of the person it's with, right? In fact, it probably gets turned on by hearing about secrets. So Venus being in Scorpio ruling this eclipse also suggests this like all or nothing, death and rebirth energy. If something doesn't satisfy you, if something doesn't feed your soul, a relationship, a pursuit, a career, you're more likely to let it go. So I see this eclipse as like I said in the introduction, we are completing the chapter. We are very much absorbing all the lessons we've learned in the last year. And we are calling forward new beginnings that prioritize intimacy, vulnerability, and truth. So it's a big one. It's gonna be interesting because next year we're starting to shift into Pisces and Virgo fully. In March, we're still going to have one final eclipse in Aries. It's interesting because we've had solar, lunar, solar in Libra, but in Aries we've had 3 solar eclipses. And how appropriate for, I mean, we're gonna have the third one, but we've had 3: April 2023, April 2024, and then there's one coming up, I think, in March 2025. So Aries, being the first zodiac sign, was like, I'm gonna take solar eclipses. I don't need your completion endings. I'm just gonna do big new beginnings, like light bulb, exciting things. Very appropriate. Let's break it down for the 12 zodiac signs. If you're looking for personal guidance, once again, you have questions, you want me to look at your chart, analyze your relationship, talk about your year coming up, help you pick a wedding date, etc., book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. So starting with Aries rising. Aries rising is having an eclipse in the 7th house. And here we are going through a relationship change and maybe completing some kind of chapter that got started in October 2023. We've had the first solar eclipse in Libra in October 2023. And then we had the lunar eclipse in Libra in April 2024. So take a look back at those dates. Actually, sorry, late March 25th, 2024. Take a look back at those dates. Have you met someone? Have you let go of a relationship? Have you experienced a shift in terms of what you find attractive, who you find attractive, what you desire? So the solar eclipse in the 7th house is a chance to do things differently, right? It's new beginnings in love. So it can represent meeting a new person, getting engaged, getting married, starting a business, signing some kind of contract, like new ways of merging with other people. Especially because the ruler is Venus in the 8th, it feels like you're maybe merging your finances, maybe you're getting married. Venus in the 8th is all about like the union of the two kind of energies and resources and finances. So for some of you, and I even know at least a couple of Aries risings that are engaged, and I think they're getting married around this time. So like some kind of, if you've gotten engaged in October last year, maybe you're about to get married. Maybe you're healing something. Maybe you're transforming an outdated belief about relationships, a sense of not being worthy or something, or a desire for a partner that is a certain way. Because the solar eclipse in the 7th is suggesting that you don't quite know everything, and sometimes you don't quite know what's right for you. So the balance might lie in like trusting the universe to send the person your way. The eclipse conjoins Mercury, the ruler of your 3rd and 6th houses. So once again, there is some kind of element of like business, signing contracts, joining forces, negotiating. I think there is very much a need for important conversations. Even if you're having a conversation with yourself, set some time aside, journal, write down what you seek in a partner. Light a candle. Venus in Libra 2 is so good for this eclipse. And manifest something, right? Like it's very much possible. And like the eclipses are not the best times to manifest, but you can still journal. Don't don't expect things to show up in exactly the same way, in the exact way you're calling it forth. But like journaling, reflecting, thinking about what you want, writing down who you want and what you desire, all of those things are fine. There's also a square to Mars in the 4th, which is interesting because for some of you, this could bring up conflicts with family members, conflicts around living situation. But for others, I could see this as a chance to heal a childhood wound, a chance to look at the past and sort of accept that you're worthy and that your desires are valid, and that and that like whatever has been affecting you and your relationships no longer has control over you. So like a lot of both physical, tangible developments, like I said, for some of you, like signing contracts, closing some kind of chapters, letting go of like a children custody because you're finishing that battle, getting married, but can also be, it's very loud in the outside in the outside world today, but it can also, like I said, could be a very spiritual, very much about like healing something and trusting and allowing the universe to like bring you what is right for you. Please share how it resonates. How has your life been since October? What has been happening in your relationships October last year? How is it similar to 2005-2006 cycle that was the same? And please, if you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I do relationship consultations, year ahead readings, natal chart readings, and more. If you are the beautiful Taurus rising, there's a solar eclipse in your 6th house, and the South Node has been in your 6th house since July 2023. We had the first solar eclipse in October 2023 and the lunar eclipse in March 2024. And this is another like an ending to that story potentially, but an ending that calls forth new beginnings. Definitely reflect on October last year, March this year. Take a look back, even further back at 2005, 2006, and see how 2023, 2024 might be similar. But the solar eclipse in the 6th house represents new beginnings around health, new beginnings around work, around everyday life, around problem solving, diet, exercise, the way you treat yourself, how you engage with other people, and like how you serve others versus like, like with a Libra in your 6th house, there might be a tendency to be very agreeable in the professional context, where you say yes if your colleagues ask you to stay late or they ask you to step in and help them out. And so the solar eclipse here might suggest that you are prioritizing more rest and prioritizing your own desires, and maybe you're learning to say no to these requests. You're learning to care less about what people will think of you. And once again, the opportunities to prioritize yourself. New beginnings, like a new job. I don't know why suddenly it became like really sunny from over here. It's almost like it's so sunny, it almost looks like it's like cloudy in here. But like a new job or a chance to let go of a job, I can see as well. Like if you're choosing a new job, it might be a spiritual job, right? Like North Node and Aries, a job that is less 9 to 5. Maybe you're choosing to work part-time. Maybe you're quitting your job to stay home with the child. The ruler of this eclipse is Venus in the 7th house of partnerships. So the goal is healthy relationships that are more fair, but also like a romantic relationship, a marriage. So you're maybe changing your professional life to honor that. The eclipse also conjoins Mercury, the ruler of the 2nd and the 5th houses. So it brings up questions of money. Another possibility could be like getting a payout, getting some kind of bonus for the project you've been working on for about a year perhaps. And Mercury ruling the 5th house once again brings up topics of like pleasure and joy and parenthood. So quitting a job, choosing work that allows you to be with your kids or to stay at home, be a stay-at-home parent, or choosing a job that like lets you have more fun is likely. There's also a square to Mars in the 3rd house, and you might be having some uncomfortable conversations and having to move through some kind of tension, but chances are it's important and it's required of you to speak up. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I do relationship, natal, year ahead readings, and I am currently accepting bookings for November. So jump on, book a reading now to see me in November. For the lovely Gemini rising, there's a solar eclipse in the 5th house. And as I've been saying, we've had the first solar eclipse in Libra in October 2023. We've had the lunar eclipse in late March 2024. So this is the 3rd chapter in that story. And it represents a completion that leads to new beginnings in your house of romance, pleasure, children, parenthood. So you're maybe, in the last year or so, you may have rediscovered what joy is for you. Rediscovered what joy. Sometimes my Russian accent just comes in very, very strongly. I think Russian language is just like a lot more like angular and sort of, cut through, and English is a lot more fluid, and sometimes it's like, Anyway, so in the last year or so, you could have rediscovered what pleasure is, what joy is, what is more interesting for you. You could have let go of or like revisited how important it is for you to be approved of by other people. Like questions of, relating with other people, doing work that other people expect of you, presenting yourself a certain way could have been important. And so the solar eclipse is offering you a chance to choose pursuits that are more soulful, and maybe connect with your child, maybe focus on being a parent, right? Maybe also rethink your relationship with your child, because sometimes if you are a Gemini rising and your 5th house of children is Libra, there might be a bit more of this like child-pleasing energy where you're very kind of like doing whatever your child desires. So the South Node solar eclipse in the 5th house could give you a chance to maybe set some boundaries in place and say no to a romantic partner if they're taking advantage of you, to a creative partner. It is both like, a shift in terms of what is exciting for you, but also a shift in terms of relationships and like how you talk to people in your life, specifically, romantic partners. The ruler is Venus in the 6th house. So I can see this also with Venus in the 6th, actually. I can see this as a need to change some kind of professional dynamic. Maybe, maybe you don't enjoy something anymore at work and you need to speak up about it. There might also be a chance to let go of a bad habit, because solar eclipse in the 5th house, the house of pleasure, you might be realizing that you have this habit that is actually not serving you, like drinking sugary drinks or smoking too much, or like, there might be a lot of focus on like health, and the solar eclipse in the 5th might offer you a chance to like connect with yourself, take better care of yourself, because this eclipse conjoins Mercury, and Mercury is your chart ruler, and it's also the ruler of your 4th house. So it's interesting, like family, health, work, and like needing better balance, needing to maybe release some like pleasures that are not healthy, speak up, do less people pleasing, and choose projects that are like joyful and soulful and spiritual, I see here. Please share how this resonates. Are you noticing 2023, 2024 being at all similar to 2005, 2006, the last time South Node was in Libra and North Node was in Aries? If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I can help you understand your relationship, your year coming up, and your natal chart. I am accepting bookings for November currently. For the lovely Cancer rising, there's a solar eclipse in the 4th house, and this is our 3rd chapter in the story that got started with the first solar eclipse in October 2023, continued with the lunar eclipse in Libra in late March 2024. And this is your opportunity to look at all the lessons you've learned, integrate them, and welcome new beginnings in your house of home, family, living situation, comfort, and security. So what can this eclipse represent? Definitely look back at last year and like how has your life changed? And also, are there any similarities between 2023, 2024 and 2005, 2006? But you're maybe moving, right? The solar eclipse is on the South Node, so it's cleansing, it's releasing, it brings a sense of rethinking, and it also conjoins Mercury, the ruler of the 12th and the 3rd. So there is some kind of like strong energy of like needing to change something, needing to let something go. And if we're talking about moving, that is very obvious, right? If you're feeling like you're no longer happy with the town you're in, the house you're in, maybe you need to pick up and relocate. If we're talking about family, solar eclipse in the 4th might like be the time where you're letting go of following what family members expect of you. The Mercury being here, right, and ruling the 12th and the 3rd might be the time when you're like realizing certain self-defeating tendencies and becoming clear about how you're standing in your own way, and having those conversations, talking to people in your life and like making changes. The ruler is Venus in the 5th, and so Venus in the 5th wants to have a good time. She really wants to enjoy life. And so how do you need to change your home life, your living situation, your sense of comfort and security, your relationships with family, to have more pleasure? And there's a square to Mars in the 1st house with this eclipse too, which might suggest that like you're dealing with some kind of adversity, you're dealing with some type of like forces that are against you, you're maybe even dealing with some kind of immune issues, health issues of people in your life. But like, you don't need to sacrifice yourself, and you don't need to like put your needs on the back burner forever. It's okay to put them on the back burner for the time being, but don't sacrifice them like forever, because then you end up resenting people who made you sacrifice it and not feeling happy yourself. And the ruler being Venus in the 5th house makes me also wonder if you're like focusing on parenthood and having a child, and maybe like exercising or focusing on like bringing pleasure into your life, and so you need to change your home to like get a bigger home to welcome a child, or build an exercise room in your house, or get a bike or something. So changes might also be like physical, but it's definitely a lot more about like something needs to be released. And if you know what that is, tell me down below. If you're looking for personal consultation, you want personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to analyze your natal chart, talk about your relationship, your year coming up, and more. If you are the lovely Leo rising, there's a solar eclipse in your third house. So take a look back at October 2023 and March 2024, because we've had the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse in Libra in your third house. So for the last year or so, there have been changes around your communication, around your thoughts, around your siblings or neighbors, around your business, around your everyday life. And changes that were likely very soulful, very spiritual. You may have experienced the need to let go of some kind of pattern of thought. You maybe felt like you need to be less people-pleasing, because that's very much what we're letting go with this eclipse in Libra. Your relationships with siblings could have transformed. Your, desire to sort of have a business could have increased potentially. North Node, let's not forget that North Node has been in your 9th house, which is very much about growth, expansion, taking on new things, right? Travel, education, etc. So you would have been doing a lot of kind of like careful balancing of like your everyday life with your goals. And so I think this eclipse is like asking you once again, in your everyday life, what do you need to release to have a better flow? To have more balance, right? Like Libra ultimately wants balance. It wants fairness. It wants accord, but in its healthiest manifestation, it's accord with no sacrifice, right? It's like, of course, we have to sacrifice once in a while, but it's sort of like accord that is more fair, that like, if you compromise, they compromise. So with the third house, it's like, what needs to change in your relationship with sibling? Are you being too accommodating? What needs to change in relationships with neighbors? What needs to change in terms of your living situation? The ruler is Venus in the 4th house. It might represent that a sibling is going through some kind of important transformation. And if you live together, maybe that's affecting your living situation, because let's say they just got married and they're moving out and you've been roommates for a while. So solar eclipse in the 3rd can also represent this like completion of a sibling related chapter, even like something, transforming in the life of the sibling that is not maybe affecting you as directly. It might be the time you start a business if you've been thinking about it, especially if it has to do with beauty or relationships or something spiritual. The eclipse conjoins Mercury, the ruler of your 11th house of dreams, and your 2nd house of money and values. So once again, like what needs to change in your everyday life to help you get to your dreams, to help you make the money you want, be involved with the community in the way that you want? What do you need to talk about if there's something that's like on your mind and needs to be expressed, right? And like, once again, without worrying what people will think. Less thinking of others, more thinking of what's important to you. And the square to Mars in the 12th house could bring up some kind of like inner tension, some self-defeating tendencies, some fears, like, and so maybe things you're letting go are your fears, are your kind of negative thinking patterns, your tendency to be critical of yourself, your tendency to doubt yourself, your tendency to like, second guess things. Please share how this resonates. Does this remind you at all, this last year, does it remind you at all of 2005, 2006 when we had the same series of eclipses? And are you excited about the Pisces Virgo cycle? If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com and pick up my 2025 planner. It is beautiful, it is useful, it is full of exciting insights, journaling pages, calendars, etc. You need it. If you are the lovely Virgo rising, there's a solar eclipse in your 2nd house, ruled by Venus in the 3rd. And we've been having eclipses in Libra since October 2023. The first one was the solar eclipse. It could have introduced new themes involving finances, involving your values. Then we had one in late March. And this is the final 3rd one, which is everything kind of coming to an end, right? It's a chance to wrap something up, but it's also a chance to introduce new things, apply the lessons you've learned, and welcome new beginnings. And so here you're looking at finances and you're looking at your goals in life, right? You may have experienced some kind of financial changes in the last year, and maybe you've had to, you know, get a mortgage. Maybe you haven't been making as much. Maybe you've been going through professional changes. And so the solar eclipse in the second house is especially because it's ruled by Venus in the third and is conjunct Mercury, the ruler of your chart, and your 10th house, is an opportunity to like both perhaps find a new job or ask for more, but it can also be a chance to like reconsider your values, right? If you've been focusing too much on like money, perhaps there is a way to like adjust your thinking and direct it more towards like, well, what if I do work that I enjoy and I feel passionate about? The money will come. So it's like, you know, it's an opportunity to examine what you desire. It's an opportunity to examine how you go after your desires, and I think evaluate whether you're feeling compensated enough. Of course, if you are in a situation where you don't feel happy and you don't feel compensated well enough, the solar eclipse in the second house can also be about letting go of a job maybe, or letting go of a source of income so that you can find a better, more lucrative, more supportive situation. But solar eclipse in the second house can also suggest that you are going through a change around resources, right? Like if you have recently married, or if you have gotten some kind of inheritance, or even, you know, like if there's just a shift, there's been a shift going on in your finances and in your like relationships with other people. I think solar eclipse in the second offers a chance to like reevaluate, maybe trust that other people have your back. Let's say if you are in a situation where you're not super happy with your professional situation. But also, yeah, speak your mind. If you don't feel happy with a job, if something is bothering you, there is very much an opportunity to have a conversation. The eclipse does square Mars in the 11th, so it does carry some kind of friction, frustrating energy, but you won't find balance unless you face things that are bothering you. Please share how this resonates. Does it remind you of 2005, 2006 when we had the same eclipse series last time? And if you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I do relationship, predictive, natal chart readings, and you can also find my beautiful, magical 2025 planner on there. I love it, and you will love it too. My lovely Libra risings, for you this eclipse is happening in the first house, and this is major. This is a completion of a chapter of personal growth, personal transformation that got started in July 2023, was especially noticeable around October 2023, and then in March 2024 when we had the solar and the lunar eclipses in Libra. And if you wanted to look back and reflect on how this last year is similar to 2005, 2006, please do that and share that in the comments below. So you have been dealing with South Node in the first house. And South Node in the first house is a time of reflection. It is a time of introspection when it comes to your health, your body, your vitality, and your goals in life, right? So when we're talking about health and vitality, especially with Saturn in your sixth house, South Node could have introduced unhealthy people-pleasing tendencies to overload yourself, to overwork yourself, to focus on some kind of things, you know, values that are maybe unhealthy for you. The ruler of the eclipse is Venus in the second. She's very much encouraging you to prioritize I think more pleasure, more joy, and maybe even like relationships and pursuits that are like soulful, healing, spiritual. The eclipse also conjoins Mercury, the ruler of your 9th and 12th houses. And for some of you, this is a great opportunity to get away and to study something new. Like, how has your life changed in the last year? What have you experienced that have transformed you? Share my personal example. I've been noticing that my health is more fragile, right? That it's so much easier to injure my back, that like sometimes I don't even know how I end up hurting myself. So for a while now, I've been realizing that I need more like physical exercise. I need more awareness. So ninth house, you know, Mercury is conjoining the eclipse. It rules the ninth house. So that desire to learn, desire to know, desire to gather sort of some kind of insight, for me, transpired into a desire to study yoga. So at the time of this eclipse, I will be in Nepal. I will be getting my yoga teacher training. Fingers crossed that my body allows me to do that, right? That it doesn't just like fall apart. So it's like, it's a new beginning that maybe takes you far away, that maybe encourages you to move and relocate. It maybe brings you closer to like healing and healing type of work. With Mercury being conjunct the eclipse ruling the 12th, you might find yourself being more interested in astrology, more interested in Reiki, taking classes, working on healing yourself. There is a square to Mars in the 10th, so I feel like tensions around work and what bosses expect of you versus what you're trying to accomplish for yourself, your tendency to work really hard and like kind of burn about a job might be highlighted here, and perhaps you will need to like rethink some things, address some tensions, and transform something. Please share how this resonates. What do you think it is for you? I think my like story is pretty it's a pretty good example. That's why I'm sharing it. And if you're looking for a personal reading, book one on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I am accepting bookings for November currently. For the beautiful Scorpio rising, there's a solar eclipse in the 12th house. We've had one solar eclipse in October 2023. We've had lunar eclipse in March 2024. And this is the final solar eclipse in this solar eclipse in Libra, in this Libra Aries series. So you're looking with this eclipse, you're looking at your mental health, at your imagination, at your spirituality, at your self-defeating tendencies and bad habits. And the ruler is Venus in the first. So once again, like a lot of focus is on you and how can you enjoy life more? How can you live life to the fullest? How can you take better care of your body, right? How can you be the best, most charming and happy version of yourself? And so this eclipse offers a glimpse, it offers a look at your mental health, right? Like I said, maybe you are going through, like in the last year or so, you have realized that there's certain patterns you have, certain ways in which you are being too agreeable and too focused on other people that is not healthy. And you're breaking away from that. You're focusing on speaking your mind. The eclipse conjoins Mercury. Mercury rules your 8th and 11th. So dealing with some kind of disagreements around money, around resources, even like partner's family or your family, I can see here. Maybe like tensions around dreams and like your dreams versus what other people see for you are possible. So some type of like opportunity to be more aware of what doesn't serve you and then let that go. The eclipse in the 12th house can also make you more aware of your spiritual interests and your desire to heal, your desire to help, your desire to be in a more esoteric, energy-driven, healing type of profession. And so the solar eclipse in the 12th might encourage you to do that and reinvent yourself. It might also encourage you to escape and to get away. And so getting away might be through travel, through learning, through moving, right? I can see here as well. So it's an interesting eclipse because for you more than for anyone, it's about learning about letting things go. And also trusting that even when things feel chaotic and you don't agree with people in your life, you know what's right for you and you should sort of lean into that. Please share, how has your life changed in the last year? Does this year, 2023 into 2024, remind you of 2005, 2006 when we had the similar eclipse series? Please share, I'd be happy to know. And if you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Pick up my 2025 planner and book a consultation. I am currently accepting November bookings. If you are a Sagittarius rising, there's a solar eclipse in your 11th house. And you're looking at your house of friendships, networks, hopes and dreams, your involvement with other people, your relationships with other people. And with solar eclipse conjunct South Node, and with the fact that we've already had 2 eclipses, we've had a solar eclipse in Libra in October 2023, we had a lunar eclipse in March 2024, and this is the final one. You are transforming something, right? You're letting something go. The ruler is Venus in the 12th, so chances are you're becoming more aware of your self-defeating patterns, of your people-pleasing tendencies in relationships, and you've likely been already doing that for the last year, right? Please share how has this been affecting you. But becoming more clear of your self-defeating tendencies in relationships, in friendships, might lead you to rethink your dynamics, might lead you to have some important conversations. It might be with your colleagues. It might even be unhealthy dynamics in your romantic relationship. The eclipse conjoins Mercury, the ruler of your 7th house and your 10th house. I can also see this as a chance to rethink your role in the world. Maybe you've had this like clear vision of who you want it to be and you no longer feel as clear about it. So let yourself sit in the unknown. Choosing pursuits, going for dreams that are more spiritual is also possible here. You know, we're about to start having South Node in your 10th house. So you're going through like this major adjustment right now of what you want and what your dreams are and who's in your corner, letting go of friendships that don't feel authentic, letting go of like tendencies that do not serve you. And so it's going to continue. It's going to take, it's going to take you into the realm of career, and then you will be reevaluating how your job reflects what you desire. There's a square to Mars in the 8th house. And you might be dealing with some type of like tensions involving money, involving, once again, maybe something in your romantic relationship where you don't quite see eye to eye. And so instead of like running away from it or trying to be sort of like cool, as a Sagittarius tends to be, like funny and charming and playful, you will be encouraged to actually talk things through and come to some kind of agreement and understanding. If you have something to share, please do. And if you're looking for a personal reading, book one at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your chart, talk about your year coming up, and more. Here also, if you'd like help looking at 2025, get my 2025 astrology planner. It's 223 pages filled with goodness and supportive insights, and it's pretty. I feel like I've said that 15 times already. If you are the lovely Capricorn rising, there's a solar eclipse in your 10th house, and it's time for change in your career, status, and reputation. And it's not a new energy. South Node has entered your 10th house in July 2023. We had a solar eclipse here in October 2023, and we had a lunar eclipse here in March 2024. So chances are you have been going through, like, maybe you felt dissatisfied with your job. Maybe you've let go of something. Maybe you've been feeling ready for something new. So the solar eclipse in the 10th house will offer a chance for professional new beginnings. But for some of you, it might be about closing old chapters, closing old doors first, like finishing a project, wrapping some kind of collaboration you've been doing with somebody else. Maybe letting go of a need to work really, really hard, right? Like as a Capricorn rising, you are the most hardworking sign there is. Maybe Virgo rising can compete with you, but I think like as a Cap rising, you like commit, you work hard. And so the South Node being in your 10th and North Node being in the 4th for the last year have been creating a need for better work-life balance, and has been creating a need to focus on your home, on your comfort and security. And so this solar eclipse is offering you a chance to once again examine whether there is balance in your life, whether your job is taking too much of your time, whether the job allows for freedom and for new dreams. The ruler of the eclipse is Venus in the 11th. And the dreams might involve working with friends, working with the community. The eclipse conjoins Mercury, the ruler of the 6th and 9th. It might involve teaching or studying. It might involve learning about diet and like doing work that once again is like healing or supportive or soulful for you and for others. You may be dealing with some kind of disagreement with your partner, or maybe some kind of contracts that you're trying to get out of that are holding you back, because the eclipse squares Mars in the 7th. So I would urge you to talk about things honestly, to face problems straight on, head on, and trust that things will work out eventually. During the eclipse, it's a little bit hard to know exactly where we're going because the wind is tossing and turning us, but when the dust settles, you will see that you're not in Texas anymore, or Kansas anymore. I feel like I was just like one metaphor, another metaphor, like la la la. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for a personal reading, book one at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your natal chart, talk about your year coming up and more, and definitely pick up my 2025 astrology planner. Get yourself ready for the year to come. Lots of space to journal, lots of space to set your intentions, descriptions of the full moons, new moons, descriptions of each month, etc. Moving on to the beautiful Aquarius rising. If you are an Aquarius rising, there is a solar eclipse in your 9th house. And that represents changes in the sector of education, travel, writing, publishing, legal matters coming to an end or starting as well, and some kind of change in your beliefs. And South Node has entered Libra in July 2023. We had an eclipse in October 2023, a solar eclipse. We had a lunar eclipse in Libra in March 2024. So you've been dealing with this energy for a while, and this eclipse is the final chapter, like final opportunity to apply the lessons, let things go, start new things. So, in general, I think Libra South Node encourages us to rethink how we deal with others. And because it's your 9th house of like beliefs and like guiding principles, and the ruler is Venus in the 10th. This is so loud. Okay, it's gonna pass us by in a second. Hopefully. So the ruler is Venus in the 10th, right? And so maybe your beliefs have been shifting around work, where you have been sort of transforming what you want to do, what you want to be known for. In the last year or so, you may have shifted from like even possibly like wanting to be super like I don't know, wanting to be more hands-on to being less hands-on, or vice versa. Your beliefs could have transformed. And so the solar eclipse in the 9th house is offering you a chance to look over those beliefs and like apply them, bring them into real life. So like if you've been going through like an ideological crisis, the solar eclipse in the 9th house can help you figure out answers to question of like, who are you, who you want to be, what you want to be known for. Pluto has gone into your 1st house, right? It's currently in Capricorn, but it's about to go back on November 19th and stay there until 2043. So what do you want to be known for, Aqua rising? Do you want to be known as a fighter, as a rule maker, or do you want to be known as a person who sat down and did nothing? So I feel like for most of you, it will be that first thing. There might also be changes when it comes to education for you, right? Like the solar eclipse in the 9th could bring finishing some kind of education project, writing a paper, graduating, becoming a teacher, traveling, relocating, moving. I can see a possibility here. The eclipse conjoins Mercury, the ruler of the 5th and the 8th. So it brings up the topics of love, pleasure, joint finances, joint resources. So maybe you're also negotiating and like trying to come to an agreement and an understanding with your partner. You may be dealing with some kind of tensions involving work, involving pets, involving serving others. And once again, sort of getting this chance to like speak up, to worry less about what people think, to please others less, and like get in touch with like what you believe, what lights the fire within you, and then spit it out, express it to the world, connect with it, embody it. Please share how this resonates. Are you noticing 2023, 2024 being at all similar to 2005, 2006? We had the same exact cycle in 2005, 2006. Obviously, it's never exactly the same. That's why I make candles every time planets come back to the zodiac sign they were in last year, let's say, because it's never exactly the same. Anyways, share your reflections. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can talk about your natal chart, your year coming up, your relationship, and more. And you can also find my 2025 astrology planner. It is pretty, it is helpful, it is magical. It wants to be yours. Anyways, last but not least, Pisces rising. There's a solar eclipse in your 8th house. And here you're looking at how you relate with other people. You're looking at how your dynamics with other people are healthy, or how are they unhealthy. We've had South Node in Libra since July 2023. We had a solar eclipse in Libra on October 14th, 2023, and then a lunar eclipse in Libra in March 2024. Those dates could be important because something may have been coming up in your life around those dates. And once again, it's like it's 8th house, so it's questions of debts, loans, taxes, money, how you deal with money. Do you tend to give money away easily, right? Libra 8th house. Do you tend to just like spend on pleasures and be more maybe like driven by desires? Or do you tend to be a bit more thoughtful? This eclipse could be the time you learn the lessons of being more strategic financially. What are your relationships with other people are? Are you happy with them? Do you let other people toast on your energy and take advantage of you, or do you have strong boundaries? The ruler is Venus in the 9th house, so I think you're questioning your beliefs, your philosophies, your guiding principles. The eclipse conjoins Mercury, and Mercury rules your 4th and the 7th, so the major areas of like relationships that you may be having conversations in involve family and your relationships with family members, and romantic business partnerships or marriage, your significant other. So solar eclipse in the 8th house is your opportunity to like either introduce a new practice in your relationship, like you may find yourself getting a loan to help a family member, or starting a joint bank account, or you're like stepping up somehow and you're taking on like new responsibility, especially with North Node in your 2nd house. And you know, there has been potentially more opportunities to make money or more changes financially. It can also be the time when you are letting go of something. You're saying, okay, I've had enough of always, I don't know, paying for this. I no longer want to do that. Or I've had enough of saying yes to that and I no longer want to do that. So all of your like relationships with other people, your relationship with money even comes under review. There's a square to Mars in the 5th, which is interesting because on some level there's an implication that like maybe you're neglecting your inner child. Maybe you're feeling like, you know, you're somehow like not satisfied. Or maybe there are some tensions around parenthood, around children, around sex even in the relationship that you need to address, that you need to discuss possibly. So it's an interesting one. I do think it like offers opportunity to like examine how you connect with other people and find ways to have relationships that are more fair, balanced, and just. And if it's not romantic or family, it could be with like a friend who feels like a sister to you or a brother to you, or a boss or a nanny that you have a partnership with. Please share how this resonates. Do you remember the themes from 2005, 2006? What was happening in your life? Is it at all similar to the last couple of years, 2023, 2024? Are you excited for the eclipses to shift into Pisces and Virgo and start lighting up your houses of identity and relationships? I hope you are. I think you should be. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I do relationship, natal, and predictive readings. And on there, you can also find my beautiful, magical, the one and only astrology planner. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Like I said, I'll be away in October. So I hope we both, me, you, all of us, have a great month, and I will definitely be back with stories and tell you more in November. Anyways, enjoy the eclipse. Have a great month. I will be posting videos even though I'm away. I don't know why I'm prefacing it like I'll be away and not showing up on your feed, because I will be. So keep watching my videos, keep sending good vibes. Subscribe right now if you haven't yet. Please do it. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.